and let's talk about the sun, the moon, and the stars real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. According to the enclosed cosmology, the sun, moon, and stars are not what we've been taught. Okay. They're the moon. It produces its own light. Okay. Whenever you take an infrared thermometer, you can go outside at night, and it works best whenever.
There's one under that blue hat.
Yeah, I have one in my car. I went out and bought the infrared thermometer to test it myself, and it's true. You can take an infrared thermometer and go out at night, and works best whenever it's a full moon, and point it at a place or point it at any spot that is exposed to moonlight, and check the temperature, and then you point it at any spot that is shaded from the moonlight. Check the temperature again. Okay, the shade, the spot in the shade is warmer than the spot that is exposed to the moonlight. It's exactly opposite than the daytime that we could get from the sun. Okay,
I don't understand.
Are you following this?
No, but it sounds like a reflection of the sun. But it's opposite.
It's not. It's not a reflection at all from the sun. It's the moon. The Bible says that the moon is a light source. Okay,
A cold light source?
a cold light source.
Oh my gosh.
This is the only.
Now the Bible does not say that it's
I've never heard of this.
The Bible does not say that it's a cold light source.
Sure.
But it says that it's a light source. But it is a cold light source. If you stand in the moon light, you will get cooler than if you're in the shade. It's the exact opposite at night than it is there in the day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and take your infrared thermometer and go check it out.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad you have one of those.
Yeah, if it's a full, especially if it's full, and
Supermoon coming back at the end of this month.
And you can test it anywhere. I've tested it under bridges. I've tested it in parking garages, in parking lots, where there's lights, where there's artificial lights that are shining on the parking lots, and you think that the artificial lights might warm up the parking lot. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
So why does the moon go through its lunar cycles?
Why does the moon go through its lunar cycles?
Yeah.
We don't know that. There's several theories. One theory that I've heard that I like is that the moon has a light inside of it. It's like an incandescent bulb. Okay, and whenever you like looking at that bulb right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I put my finger over it.
Yeah.
It comes
Yeah.
Is that just God putting his thumb over it? Is it that simple?
Well, I wouldn't say that God is putting his thumb over it. He would have created he would have created a full mechanism for it. But the point is that the cold light proves is that the moonlight is not being reflected. It's not a reflection of the sunlight. That's what it proves. Because if it were a reflection of the sunlight, then you would get warmer standing in the moonlight. It's impossible for something for you to have a light source, then a reflector, and then you stand in the light from that reflector, and then you're going to get cooler? No, that's not the way things work. So,
Okay.
So, then let's talk about the stars.
Yeah. Okay. So we covered. Now. Okay. So let me just. I guess. Okay. So we have a half circle. How thick is the Earth?
How thick is the Earth?
Are we talking?
Now think of this.
Are we talking Chicago style?
No,
New York?
you've got to realize. Okay, that's a good question. The thickness of the Earth. The Earth is the floor of the universe. Okay. The Earth is the floor of the universe. Okay. Everything that we know about space, there's the Earth, there's the atmosphere, the clouds, the different varying layers of atmosphere that go beyond that, and then the area where the sun, moon, and stars are. Okay?
So everything is encompassed.
Enclosed
in this. Little,
enclosed in the enclosed cosmology.
I'll let you.
Okay. Yeah, the space is simply above us.
Okay.
It's simply above us. Okay. Now, trying to think of the next best place to go.
Yeah. Okay. So how thick is the crust of the world?
Oh, how,
We're
because,
if we're the base. Of the
okay,
universe,
they
we're
have
just
dug down to Russia. They have a hole, and it's got a specific name.
Russia's got the best holes.
Yeah. But they have a hole where they've dug down 8 miles, or nearly 8 miles. It took them, I think, 40 years to do it. Okay.
Mhm.
And they finally were no longer able to dig because it got too. I think the rock got too hard. That was the number one. That was one problem.
Mhm.
Where the drill bits, they just couldn't. They couldn't make drill bits that were hard enough to dig anymore. And then the number two problem is the pressure from the ground around them. It was, you got the ground pressing down, and so whenever you got this hole, you've got the hole wanting to close in because the ground is pressing down and wanting to close.
Does Russia have the deepest hole? Where is the deepest hole in the world?
Yeah,
Well,
that should be pretty easy.
Because that would be, some of the deepest parts of the world are in the ocean. That was what I thought.
In the abyss and the Marianas Trench and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Right. So this is deeper than that.
I do not know how deep this hole goes compared to now there are mountains in the ocean that are taller than Mount Everest. Okay.
But as far as
And Mount Everest is 29,000 feet. So if a mile is 5,000 feet, 5,280 feet, then you got 5 miles. Mount Everest is right between 5 and 6 miles tall.
But Mount Everest is the highest thing above sea level.
Yeah, that's the highest thing above. That's the highest place above sea level. But
So
under the sea, there are mountains that apparently dwarf Mount Everest.
So if we brought it up to sea level.
Yes. So if you brought those mountains above sea level, but they would be huge compared to Mount Everest.
Okay.
Okay. So we're talking like we've only been able to dig a hole on the surface.
40,000 feet
40,000
in
feet.
Murmansk, Russia.
Yep.
Kola, super deep borehole.
Yeah, 40,000 feet. That's right. That's right there, really close to 8 miles deep. Yeah. If a mile is 5,280 feet, then that's right close to 8 miles. Yep, that's it.
It's 9 inches, 9-inch diameter.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's the deepest that we have gone. So we know that the crust is.
That's it?
Yeah, we know that the crust of the
It's
earth.
a manhole.
It's welded shut.
It's
Yes.
a man. So
Yeah, it's not much.
So maybe
It's not much.
What if they discovered something?
Well,
Look at that. Look at
I
those
do-
bolts on that thing.
I do not. Yeah, I know.
That's
No.
serious. It
Yeah,
looks like they tried to blow up the building around it. Or they just forgot about it. They're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's the hole.
It's a.
It seems like
it's an enigma. That's
it
for sure.
seems like
It's
looking
not
at
much
this
to look.
picture.
It's
looking at
really
this
not
picture,
much to look at.
We're looking at a manhole that looks like it's been abandoned since the Cold War, with a bunch of giant bolts bolting it down. I don't know. It's pretty. You would think that I pictured a bunch of like at least 100 people with hard hats being like just sitting there nodding.
Yeah,
Like,
I would have
they're
actually.
like, oh, we're doing really
I
good.
actually pictured a gigantic
full-time
hole.
job monitoring it.
Yeah, I actually pictured a gigantic hole that several people would be able to go down into.
It looks like they just forgot about it. We're like, this is stupid. We're leaving.
Yeah. The there is a interesting. Now I don't place too much faith in this. But there is an interesting story that they got so deep and they started. The story goes, and of course I don't place too much faith in
This
this.
is the good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
But the story goes that they got so deep that all of a sudden they started hearing cries and wailing and
What do you think of that?
they got. I don't know.
China.
Some people say that the story goes that,
you know what you want to say.
the story
Hell.
the story goes that they got so deep that they discovered hell, but I don't place too much in that because I'm not so sure that hell is a physical place that you can dig to. So, but
But I mean,
anyways,
if they heard-
but that's a pretty cool story.
If
I
that's what
just
they
want to say
heard,
that.
yeah. I mean, if that's what they heard, then
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story.
okay. Well, we covered the base of the universe, the ground.
Oh,
We covered-
stars.
We've covered. Yeah, we've covered.
Wanna tell you
We've
what
covered the
stars
moon,
are?
which is you think is a light source.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Kind of
then-
like that incandescent bulb.
A cold.
And I'm about to get into. Have you ever flown on a plane?
Yes.
So you've flown on a plane, and do you think the pilots are in on it? What am I saying? If you do Uber,
Okay.
how does your phone work? It's
Oh,
not
through
a-
GPS?
Yeah.
Oh, it works. GPS can work just as easily on a flat Earth. Oh, you're talking about satellites and stuff.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now I do not know for sure. I've not done my own research on this
Do you
issue.
think we have satellites?
I am convinced that just the same as we do not go into space, we do not have satellites. We do not go into space. Nothing goes into space. That's all a hoax, man.
Nothing goes past our.
Nothing goes outside of the atmosphere. Remember what I told you? Outside of the atmosphere, you can't have combustion and you can't have thrust. There's nothing to push off of, and then there's no way to make the combustion necessary to have that little explosion, to have that little explosive pop.
So that would require every astronaut ever being in on this huge conspiracy.
Well, that goes into talking about Masons and the Jesuits and a massive worldwide conspiracy. Absolutely. Okay, think about this. Okay, at the bottom ranks of the Masonic, the Masons. Okay, and I have to admit, I do not know very much about the Masons. Okay, but what I do know is that once you have to take oaths and you learn secrets at every level of being a Mason. Okay, and at a certain point, you not only have to keep these secrets at every level, but once you get up into the highest rankings, in order to keep those secrets, you have to lie. Okay? You have to lie to everyone so that you can keep those secrets whenever you get up into the highest ranking Masonic levels. Okay, so Buzz Aldrin, I happen to know that he was a 33rd degree Mason. In order to be an astronaut, you either have to be a Mason or you've got to have somebody in your family who is a high-ranking Mason.
So they've all been
And so
Masons?
Neil Armstrong was not a Mason, but either his dad was or his grandfather was or something like that. Okay, and they were high-ranking Masons.
Are all astronauts Masons?
Well, most of them are.
We will confirm.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them are Masons. Okay, you have to be a Mason, especially these days. Maybe not. I don't think in the beginning, because Neil Armstrong wasn't a Mason. Okay, but most astronauts are Masons, and it's only like a number of like 500 people who've allegedly gone into space now.
Hold on. Who is this? Who's typing? Are they typing a question?
No.
Or are they like they're?
If you lie, they stake you at the front of the Walmart to collect donations. Don't lie.
Okay.
If you maybe, and then they came back and they said if you don't lie, they stick you in the front of the Walmart to collect donations. That's what Adam Nuffer says.
Adam Nuffer. I remember that.
Yeah, no, he went to film school.
Yeah.
But no,
Thank you,
it
Adam.
says no because females supposedly cannot become Masons, and
Well,
they're female astronauts.
Okay, well, like I said, not all of them are Masons.
Right, you
Okay.
were correct, but that's confirmation.
So, anyways,
Can you also propel yourself or use thrusters in space? That was, I think, we should be able to.
I'm gonna send Elon Musk a text,
Okay.
and I'll see if he gets back to me.
That seems like something like we should have some kind of internal combustion engine or whatever, because you see that a lot in like high school science fairs.
Yeah.
Like they want to make some kind of combustion engine without oxygen involved, or
Isaac Newton, third law. Every action produces an equal and opposite reaction. When a rocket shoots fuel from one end, this propels the rocket forward. No errors required.
Yeah. That's if you can get combustion to happen.
So you're saying you can't ignite combustion?
Yeah,
You're saying you can't ignite
it will not.
combustion?
It will not ignite. And space is a perfect vacuum. Okay, allegedly, it's a perfect vacuum.
But you don't need air in order to ignite it.
You need heat. Okay,
Or just the gasoline.
In order, it's not gasoline that they use. They've only got it. There's only a few combustibles that they can use, and these combustibles, whenever you take away the vacuum, whenever you take away the air pressure, they won't combust anymore.
How does it? Just look up how does a rocket work in space? Is that what that says?
Yeah. It works based off of Isaac Newton's third law of motion.
Just jets of air? Could jets of air work? Could jets of air push you? You know, you ever eat a CO2 or a nitrogen tank, or you know what I mean?
They aren't really placing too much in that. They sure didn't use jets of air to get to the moon.
Right.
But let me point out this.
Or they use gravity.
Let me point out this, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, they they use gravity, but let me tell you this, okay? Right now they go into low Earth orbit. I think they don't get any higher than 400 miles up. Low Earth orbit is between 99 miles
Mhm.
and 1,000 or 1,200 miles, 1,200 miles. Okay, they don't go any higher than 400 miles. And the reason for that is because the Van Allen belts start at somewhere between 500 miles all the way up to 5,000.
Mhm.
Okay, do you know what the Van Allen radiation belts are?
I have no idea.
Van Allen radiation belts are extremely high areas of radiation that surround the Earth. Okay, and they have to fly through these Van Allen radiation belts to get out into deep space. Okay, so
Is this a thing that's known, or?
yeah, it's well known. They discovered the Van Allen radiation belts in the early 1950s or late 1950s. It's like 10 years before we went to the moon. But they didn't know how bad the Van Allen radiation belts were. And this is one of the biggest reasons that flat earthers do not believe that we went to the moon. Because if you try to go through those Van Allen radiation belts, it's going to cook everything. It'll heat up all the metals, and we only have a couple of elements that can survive extremely high enough those high temperatures. Okay, that's just the elements that can survive the high temperatures that would be superheated that hot by the Van Allen radiation belts. Okay, we're not talking about life being able to survive going through them. Okay,
So when the Russians were the ones that won the space race, or I guess they put, I think, life in space first. They put a monkey or a dog in space, and that came back down.
Mhm.
I'm so tempted to say was the dog in the Illuminati, but I won't.
That's
But
funny.
is it? So were they faking it so that the U.S. would match them faking it, or all world governments in on it together, or is it the Freemasons that control it, or the Illuminati?
Basically, the way it worked was the Russia had a space program, and I think at this point we all actually really believed that we could get into space. Okay, but what happened was America decided, oh yeah, we need to beat the Russians, and so in just under 10 years we built a space program out of nothing, just about. Okay, and then we faked the first moon landing in 1969. Okay, and so man, the whole space program was built off it in just 10 years, and we got to the moon on our first try.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound logical?
Yes.
Why?
And we haven't gone back.
We've gone back 6 times.
Unreported.
Oh,
No, totally reported.
The U.S.
This is a fact.
the U.S. or the
We've gone to the moon 6 times.
Recently?
From 1969 to 1972.
That's
we
what I
went
mean.
6 times. And then 7 times if you count Apollo 13, which malfunctioned and they were going to land on the moon, but they didn't.
So since 72, we have not gone back.
Right.
That was my
Oh,
So-
okay.
strange.
Yes. Highly mysterious.
So is this whole? You don't think we're going to Mars either?
They're going to
The
fake
Mars
it.
rover. You think they're
They're
going
going to fake it just like they faked.
Oh, they're going to fake it.
It's programming. Okay, the very first movie that was ever made was about a mission to the moon. The very first, not the very first, film footage that was ever shot, but the very first movie that was ever made was about a mission to the moon. Okay,
I thought it was The Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation.
Yeah.
No, that was like 1914.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or something like that. Okay, but it was a mission.
It might have been the first American.
I might be misquoting that. There's a chance I could be misquoting that. Okay, but anyways, one of the very first movies that was ever made was a mission to the moon. They went to the moon.
Mhm.
Okay, and ever since then, we had the space race hit. We had a whole bunch of movies that were. I mean, whenever I say the space race, we had a whole bunch of movies that were made. All about space travel and going. And aliens coming, and we had War of the Worlds that was made, the radio broadcast War of the Worlds that happened in the 1940s with George Orwell. But this is all programming. It's all programming designed to get people to believe in space travel. And we're going to go flying around in space, like Star Trek and Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
And
one of the things, just really quickly, there's a few people I know that work for, defense organizations,
Mhm.
and they work with ballistic missiles. They work with things
Yeah.
that need to leave our atmosphere and come back in and drop back in.
okay.
So, and they're able to see that and calculate that.
Now I will,
Yeah.
with what I've learned, I would have to say that those ballistic missiles, they'll go high, they'll go really high up. Okay, there might even be a section up there, an area up there,
Right.
where
Where they're like the laws of gravity and everything change, physics change.
Yeah.
So in order
Well,
for this to work,
I
this
wouldn't-
has to happen.
I don't know if physics will change, but
Well, the
but
physics of
I would say that
yeah.
there might be a section, an area of space that is high enough where they might be able to escape the down.
the terrarium.
Well, there's another thing that flat earthers do not believe in, which is gravity. Okay, flat earthers. No. You're right.
I didn't.
You're right. No, that's good. That's good. But gravity is a theory. Okay, it's just a theory, like the theory of evolution. It's just a theory. Okay, it's all part of what is called scientism. Okay,
What is
Different from Scientology.
yes, different from Scientology. Okay, but it's something that you have to. It's something that you have to accept by faith.
gravity?
Like for instance, scientists tell us that there are planets that are orbiting stars out there, just like our Earth orbits our sun. Okay, there are scientists who tell us that. You have to accept that by faith. That you can't
Well,
go check it out. You can't use science to go.
I can talk to scientists though that
Mhm.
study that sort of thing, and they can, there's
You have to take their word for it.
There's telescopes all over the U.S. But right, so
You have to take
you're
their
a
word for it.
filmmaker.
And,
You're a filmmaker.
that
So
goes-
someone would entrust you if they're like, Grant, I want you to make me a film. I don't understand how any of this works. I don't understand how that soundboard works. I don't understand how that camera works. As far as I know, it is magic. Now, they have to put a certain amount of faith in you in order for you to say, oh, yeah, when I press this button, I capture your image. And it's captured on this disc card. And it's
Right.
and you might know that the technical way that a lot of those things happen. But to them, they're just like, that's way above their head. They might even be a biologist, an astrophysicist, or whatever. They don't know how that works, though.
Now, one interesting thing is about everything we know about space. It's all filtered through us by NASA, through NASA. Okay, NASA controls any information that we get, any information that's released to the public comes through NASA. It goes if there's any information, it goes through NASA and then it's released to the public.
But what about the Chinese and Russian? They have a similar process. What about SpaceX?
Yeah, they have a similar process.
Elon Musk.
Yeah,
there's a Virgin. What's his name? Richard Branson's trying to start a touristic company.
And how long has that been happening?
I don't know.
Yeah, they keep on postponing it.
I know it's an expensive.
I don't even know if Richard Branson's trying to do it anymore.
I think it was a publicity stunt, but
yeah.
So is that what you think it is? You think
they're going to keep on? They're going to keep on pushing it back.
And postponing it.
So they're going to keep on postponing it until they're ready to really fake it again.
We have another guest question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It says that the Greeks believed in Zeus before there was a Jesus. So are they all now in hell? Egyptians believed in many gods. Are they in hell?
Okay, back to the salvation issue.
People love that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's the same person calling in.
Yeah. Back to the salvation issue. Everyone who does not believe in Jesus as a Lord and Savior goes to hell.
Okay, that was it.
Yeah.
That's simple. Tied it up.
Yeah.